All right, guys, you have your first Maximo call in 5 minutes. You don't want to look like an idiot on the call, and I don't want you to look like an idiot either. So let's rapid fire. Let's go through what you need to be prepared to talk about. Ask a few pinpointed correct questions, if you will. Get the customer talking, keep them talking, take a lot of notes, come back to us so we can go over that together and plan next steps. So number one, understanding who your audience is. Number one audience we have is IT. What's IT typically looking for? A lot of times they're buying the lowest price technically acceptable. So we got to convince them that they need to get off of lowest price and get into some improvement and meet you and your business needs. What do they want to see? They want to see past performance. We have a ton of that. We've deployed globally 150 plus sites for Johnson & Johnson, 28 countries, 13 languages. We've got a lot of past performance on top of what you as IBM have. A lot of industries as well. They're going to want to know that we can conquer the technical challenges between IBM and Banetti. We have all of that infrastructure deployment stuff wrapped up. Security, no problem. We have an approach that's proven to work, as with J&J. We can support the timeline. We can do things rapidly. And we do have a global support desk as well as IBM. Second audience that we typically run into would be the maintenance people. And these are the guys that want to know that you understand what their life is like. So if you haven't watched my reasons people hate Maximo and the reasons that they abandon the system, you got to go watch that, because that's all about the maintenance guys. At the end of the day, if Maximo was designed in a conference room to meet the needs of executives, that means it doesn't work the way the technicians work. And if it doesn't work the way they work, then it is an impediment to them getting their job done. And the result is we have bad data. It's very simple. Ask somebody, hey, a maintenance supervisor, all your techs come up at the end of the day and tell you how great Maximo is, right? And watch them laugh. You will actually building some rapport, some trust and understanding with that, because nobody does that. So next is our production operations, and they are looking for something very similar to your maintenance staff, except for their focus is asset uptime for production. So they're going to talk about some reliability strategies, FMECA, failure mode, effect, and criticality analysis. And all you have to say is like, I understand there, a lot of reliability strategies. We have some teams who are very deep in that. We should bring them to another call where we can dive into that more deeply. Don't try and talk to that if that's not a core area of expertise. They'll find you out quickly, and it will not help. So, all right, next, let's talk about project approach. You're going to want to figure out, do they want what we would call a technical upgrade, a lift and shift? Or do they actually want to improve the product? And if they want to improve, figure out what kind of improvements they want to make. The lift and shift is like, are you going SaaS? Are you going to try and run it on-prem? That's pretty straightforward. The other side would be then if they do say that they want to go to the cloud, you got to figure out, do they need to be on an essentials or a bigger plan? So you're going to want to start getting some size, like how many users do you have by what role, how many technicians, supervisors, how many are in purchasing, inventory, and how many admins do you have? That's going to help you size the system. The next part to that would be, what are your add-ons? And add-ons can be the IBM add-ons, like I have oil and gas or aviation, or third party. Some people are still using third party scheduling. Some people are still using third party mobile tools. Of course, we'd like to get them off of those, but let's not try and do that too soon. Let's figure out their business case and needs so that we have a strong argument before we tackle that. Next is integrations. Almost all large enterprises have some type of integration. Most common, of course, is a purchasing integration. Secondly, would then be inventory management. Some people will be integrating work orders. Some people will be integrating assets. Figure out what their integrations look like. And what we generally say is, what's the system and what's the data point being integrated? Which direction? Usually it's only one direction, sometimes bi-directional. Next item up is going to be, what does the system do for you, or what does it not do for you? Question I typically ask is, so right now, is the data in Maximo delivering all of the insights that leadership is looking for? It's a big question. they'll probably talk for 30 minutes. You don't even have to say anything. Just nod your head. Take notes. Figure out what it does do well. Figure out what it doesn't do well. For us who've been doing this for 30 years on the implementation side, we can translate that into what they have and don't have. We can do that. If they start going deeper than that, and they're saying, well, hey, we want to get, we want to get predictive. We want to be more reliable. The next thing I would say is, well, are you recording all of your corrective maintenance? If you're not, that's number one. Are you recording PCR codes? In Maximo, we call them failure codes: problem, cause, remedy. Someone reported this problem, a technician determined this was the cause, and they implemented this remedy. If you're not recording that, I can't predict anything except for it will break again. That's as far as I can get. So PCR codes, failure codes are critical. At that level, you leave it at that, take notes. It shows that you understand enough that they're going to come back to the table and talk to you again. And finally, I typically leave them with something like, look, out of this is going to be a big move, a big expense. Would you like to see your organization become more predictive and increase your production uptime as a result? They're going to say yes. Great. Let me come back to you with a plan to do that. Reach out, ask questions. This is deep water. Don't try and conquer the world on your own. That's why you have us by your side. It's your deal. We are your support. We are your Maximo concierge. Get ready with Banetti.